So today in Times of India, in the Times Global section, there is an article about Akshaya Patra Foundation. It says, the London's poor is tasting the Indians' charity. Today we are proudly announcing that we are feeding 2,000 meals to the London underprivileged and the homeless from an Indian charity, Akshaya Patra Foundation. So Akshaya Patra Foundation is the largest NGO in the world, feeding 17 lakh children every single day. And so in Andhra Pradesh, the combined Andhra Pradesh, now in Telangana, we are feeding, as Prasad ji has mentioned, almost 1 lakh children every single day. Just to give an idea about what it means to feed 1 lakh children every single day. In a family of say 4 or 5, a mother may be cooking half a kg rice, maybe a little more than that. Now we cook every single day 11 tons of rice, and we cut and prepare around 4 to 5 tons of vegetables and about 3 tons of dal. That's the kind of volume we handle every single day. So it all started from the compassion of a spiritual guru who founded Hare Krishna movement in 1960s. That is His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ji. Once he was on he's in Mayapur temple in West Bengal. The festival got over, and then he was watching from a balcony. Then he saw there is a kind of a dustbin, and all the leftovers were thrown into the dustbin. So Prabhupada ji was just glancing, generally like that. Then suddenly he saw that there are some small children trying to pick up those leftovers and satisfy their hunger. At the same time, he also saw a bunch of dogs coming and fighting with the children for the same leftovers. So looking at all this, he was very shaken up, and then he said, a temple is God's place. A temple or a church or a masjid is a God's place. So he says, within the 10-mile radius of our temples, nobody should go hungry. That is the vision that he has given to us. Within the 10-mile radius, nobody should go hungry. So he has articulated and communicated that, that desire and vision so nicely that after 20 years, we have decided to take up that vision and give a shape in the form of Akshaya Patra Foundation. Now this is one important quality for a leader. He has to communicate his vision, preferably through catchy stories or visually, because somehow stories are attractive to the mind. So Prabhupada ji has given his vision, and then we have taken up Akshaya Patra Foundation, started in Bangalore in the year 2000. So when we read these quotes of Prabhupada ji, then we thought, okay, we should feed now. We should feed the meals. So when we are deciding now which section of the society should we feed, many people said there are many slums are there. Every day you can cook and go and give it to them. But slowly the thought evolved that why not feed our children so that they can become good citizens. So then which children? There are children everywhere. And then finally we came to this conclusion that why not feed the children in the government schools? Because they are the most deserving kind of people. So that's how we started feeding in government schools with 1,500 meals every single day. Now those days 1,500 meals into 20 rupees is a big amount for a temple to bear, because the temple has to spend money. So anyway, we have decided that okay, it's a noble cause. God will help us. So that's how we started. And then we saw the response, it was tremendous. And then we started getting requests from everybody. And then the requests are all summing up to 1 lakh meals every single day. That's the kind of requirement. So cooking 1,500 meals and cooking 1 lakh meals is a huge difference. Initially, as soon as we want to scale up, the idea that came to our mind was, okay, have many gas stoves and have hundreds of fires as the cooks cooking up these meals every single day. That's the initial thought. But then later on we understood that no, unless we utilize technology, we will not be able to scale up our operations. So that's the second thing that we have got into. We have, because we are the leaders in midday meals. Visakhapatnam Foundation started in 2000, and the government of India started the midday meal scheme in around 2002. By looking at the success of Visakhapatnam Foundation, somebody got an idea, and then they put a bill in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has directed government of India to start this scheme. And immediately the government of Karnataka has collaborated with us, and then we have this requirement to scale it up to 1 lakh meals a day. So that's how we have taken advantage of the technology, and then we have one important thing that we have done was when we introduced this meal scheme in the schools, we have kept our ears to the ground, and we took every single feedback from all of stakeholders, from the children, parents of the children, the principal, the teachers, and the government officials, like everybody. And then every single feedback we have valued it, and then we try to incorporate that into the process. We have fine-tuned our process, and then very quickly we are ready with our template. Once we are ready with our template, then when we started getting opportunities from various states, we immediately accepted and we started expanding. When we went to the North India, we went to Jaipur first. There the menu is based out of chapati. We know that it's a wheat based. Now 1 lakh children we have to feed. Each child will take minimum of 3 chapatis. Now your challenge is 3 lakh chapatis. It has to be ready in 4 hours. Say you start your cooking by early hours. You have to be ready by 9 o'clock, and then dispatch your chapatis to the schools, and then they'll reach by 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. The child can eat the meal. So now in a couple of hours, in say 3 to 4 hours, we have to cook 4 lakh chapatis or 3 lakh chapatis. That was the challenge. And those days, the chapati machine which was there in the market was able to produce 1,000 chapatis in 1 hour. 1,000 chapatis in 1 hour. Now, how can you make 3 lakh chapatis in a day? So, we went and sat with the manufacturer. Now we are very clear. Now we have to get this done. And then, fortunately, many of our Swamijis are from engineering background. So we went and sat with the manufacturer. He ruled out that anything more is possible. He said 1,000 is the maximum. And then we gave some ideas, and then we encouraged him. But he is not willing to change. We gave little more money, and then innovation happened. We produced a machine which is about say 20,000 chapatis per hour. Currently we are operating machines which can produce 60,000 chapatis in 1 single hour. That's the kind of machine. So that is the second point I would like to say. A leader should not quickly give up. Generally what happens when the pressure comes, people would like to settle for immediate gratification. They don't look at the long-term benefits. But a leader should not give it up easily. He has to continue his search for solutions. And that's what we have learned from this chapati machine. And so today, any child, any numbers of children we can feed very easily. So that's the. And then there was one more occasion where Akshay Patra is expanding nicely, but then for every single meal, government gives us almost 50% of the support. But Akshay Patra Foundation has to rise another 50%. Say 10 rupees the meal, 5 rupees comes from the government, and the rest of the 5 has to come from our foundation. So there was a time when we were short of finances. Our fundraising team was unable to cope up with the pace at which we are supplying the meals, and there was a big deficit. There was a tremendous pressure on the management to close down some of the feeding programs in some of the areas. And now let me tell you, feeding is going on, children are enjoying it, and our program is in such a way that once you start, you cannot stop. And then the children, the parents, they already made their minds that as when I go to the school, there is a meal available. So we decided that now we are not going to change this. We will not stop it. We will increase our efficiency. We are also try to collect more aggressively the funds. And that's when we went and met the Infosys chairperson, Mrs. Sudha Murthy. And then we explained that, look, this is what we are doing. And then, so why don't you help us? And she is a very, compassionate lady. And I would say she has made immediately she took the checkbook and then gave us a 2 crore donation. The first biggest donation to Akshay Patra Foundation ever. So that has come from a woman. From that time onwards, I would say Infosys has partnered with Akshay Patra, and actually this month, 30th March, Mrs. Sudha Murthy is coming to Hyderabad to inaugurate the world's largest charitable kitchen opposite IIT. So we thank her and Infosys Foundation for that. The point is that see, the leader not only has external challenges, financials, and the changes in the manpower, and the political situation. The political party operating in Karnataka is different from the government which is operating in many other states. Not only these kind of challenges, a leader also faces challenges from within. The way there is a world outside of us, there is a world inside of us. We all know, for example, once I was just waiting in an airport to catch my flight, and then one Telugu CEO is coming from USA, and he sat next to me, and he is with his CFO also. And then we were discussing. He asked one question. He said, Swamiji, it's this embarrassing for me, but I wanted to ask you. I said, you please let me know. He said, I am around 50 plus. And I have my daughter, grown-up daughter. She is also working in some place. But I wanted to frankly ask you, although I am 50 years and I have a grown-up daughter, but when I see some beautiful woman passing by, still I feel agitation in my mind. So, is there a solution with you? No, I'm just telling this. This may not be very appropriate, but then, yes, there are challenges from within. To remain disciplined, to achieve a goal, we have to be disciplined. That requires that we should not get distracted. Now, in this world of distraction, to remain focused on what we want to achieve a leader has to do a lot of work within than the without. So how do we overcome these distractions is a crucial subject that spirituality handles. Now, many people ask me, Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago by Krishna. Is that still relevant in this modern age? I will just tell you in 2 minutes. Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago, and at that time, they were traveling on the chariots pulled by the horses, and probably they are using arrows and all that to fight. That's fine. And now we are traveling on the aeroplanes, and we are traveling in nice sophisticated cars. Yes, we have changed in our externals. But now look at the condition of Arjuna. Arjuna was on the emotional breakdown. He could not handle the situation that he was facing. It's an emotional problem. It's not that he doesn't know how to fight. He was the #1 fighter those days. Arjuna was celebrated, a celebrated archer. But then what is that which has weakened him? Not because of the army in front of him, but because he has become emotionally bankrupt. He has become very weak. And now so he has become so weak that he has kept his arrow and bow and all that, and he is sitting and crying. Can you believe? A warrior of his stature is sitting and shedding tears. Now tell me, a leader has to go through probably some of these circumstances. There will be overwhelming situations in our life where probably silently we may be shedding tears and at the edge of an emotional breakdown, but then what is the solution? So at that time, Arjuna turns to Krishna. Krishna is like a friend for him, Arjuna. They were like friends. But at that time, he turns to Krishna and says, "Now, my Lord, please tell me what exactly I should do, my next step." Now this is the problem for the leader, to decide the next step in complicated situations. Somehow leader means he has to lead. That means he has to decide the path. And there is nobody else is available around you to tell you what path you have to take. In Akshaya Patra we face that, because we are the pioneers in midday meals by God's wish, and so we really don't know what path to take. So that's how the leadership is. He has to traverse the path in which you may not get much help from any other source. So Arjuna has asked Krishna, "Now what exactly I need to do next?" And then Krishna, first thing that Krishna did was, he heard Arjuna thoroughly. He has not started preaching immediately, you should do this, you should do that. No. First of all, when you can see first 1.5 chapters, you will see Arjuna's all arguments. Why he cannot do his duty as a military man. He is a military man, he is supposed to fight. And if you don't want to fight after coming to the battlefield, it looks very odd. Let us say somebody has invited me to speak here. After coming onto the stage, he says, no, I cannot speak. It doesn't make any sense. So Arjuna was like that. He doesn't want to do his duty. So first Krishna heard him, and then he systematically builds Bhagavad Gita, probably half an hour conversation. At the end of it, Arjuna stands up with confidence, and then he fights. Now in Bhagavad Gita, did Krishna told anything about archery, how to use weapons and this and nothing? He has not told any of those. Because already he is expert in that. Arjuna is expert in that. Krishna has not told him. Krishna spoke about the tools and technology of the internal world by which Arjuna can regain his confidence, get up and fight. That's what he taught. Our universities, the BTech and MTech or whatever technology that we are studying today, they will give you the tools and technology by which you can control the external world. You know how to control the matter, you know Newton laws, you know gravitational laws, you know Kepler laws. But what are the laws by which I can control my mind? If my mind is diverting towards something which I am not supposed to, now is there a way? Now, 1 week ahead of me, there is an examination for the student to write. It's a crucial examination, and I am unable to focus on my studies. My mind is going towards the current cricket match going on between India and Sri Lanka, or the Bahubali movie that has come just now. So now, how do I control my mind? Now, do you think it is not relevant to leadership? Very much. If the leader is not aware what is distracting his workforce, now how can he achieve his goals? He cannot achieve his goals. So, how to control mind? How to control? On top of the mind, there is something called intelligence. How to strengthen intelligence? Above intelligence, there is an ego. Now, ego issues. The first Navy official is talking about egoistic people. Ego everybody has. Now that's an ego. But Krishna reveals one more wonderful thing. He says, above all these things, within your system, inside world, there is something called spirit. Spirit soul. The concept of spirit soul is dealt elaborately in Bhagavad Gita, and that's called spirituality. Spirituality is to do with spirit. Now, why we have to understand spirit? Unless you strengthen the spirit, spirit is the CEO of the internal world. You may be the CEO of a big company, handling thousands of employees, but inside you have to handle many employees, mind, intelligence, egos. These are the guys who are there inside. And unless you become a CEO inside, you will not be a perfect CEO outside. Because you really don't know how to discipline yourself or to discipline the workforce. That's the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. So, we use all these principles in Akshaya Patra Foundation because we are also dealing with the external forces, the way any company works. We also have to deal with all these forces. For example, government. To get I'm just openly telling you our challenges. To get money from government, the government grant, now we have to do the same things that any other corporation has to do. Of course, we don't pay any bribe. That is our policy. But then you can see the kind of delays, the kind of corruption, the kind of things that everything we have to do. But we have something to depend on. We have clear direction that is coming from Bhagavad Gita. So I request all the leaders to look at, have a glimpse, have a look at this Bhagavad Gita as it is that we follow. As leaders know, we all read a lot of books, right? New ideas which are coming up in the market. We read a lot of ideas. Why not read the oldest idea which is depicted in Bhagavad Gita, which is sustaining even today in the form of Akshaya Patra Foundation and many other foundations. Thank you so much.